Hello everybody and welcome back to our fifth video on the Limbus Company ID tier list. Uh, what's it gonna be, like a 12ology? Anyways, now we are moving on to Meursault, starting with its base ID. Moving on, okay, anyways. Okay, so he has a lot of problems. He has -3 offense level for all his skills, which means he can't clash at all. He gains defense up with his skills. Defense up is useless. It only increases his block power. Like, come on. Yeah, that's not good. But hear me out. He has a free tremor burst on his skill 2. That is not enough to save him from D tier though. So we'll leave him at D tier. And now we have Liu Meursault. We will also put him in honestly just there. He can't clash. He has capote, but that's we're not like putting egos that high really, and you don't really need capote. Actually, isn't capote bugged? I think they fixed that. Capote might still be bugged. I don't know about that, but so we'll just leave him there for now. Yeah. Oh, and about the capote bug, capote for now, as to my knowledge right now, it instead of inflicting more burn count with its skill description, it inflicts tremor count. Or no, instead of inflicting tremor potency via the skill description, it inflicts tremor count. So unironically, right now in a burn team, Capote Meursault is an effervescent Rhodion for tremor. So yeah, but egos aren't really a factor. It's just dumb. But yeah, he can clash. That's the reason why he's here. He also can't do damage. No, you do not deserve to be in B. He goes above Daichi though. Actually, no. At least Daichi can tank. And maybe when I clash. So Meursault goes there. And now we have Rose Spanner Meursault, which I'm trying to think right now. Is he a good tremor ID? Nah, he's a okay tremor ID. He's not better than Mauler, because at least for Mauler he gets a free tremor burst with his skill 2, I think, and skill. I don't think his skill like Mauler Yusang gets free tremor burst. He actually decreases tremor. He can't clash without regret. And he's weirdly a charge unit, but like isolated. The charge is only isolated to his skill 3, so it's really weird. But tremor be eating good, and he can burst tremor a good amount with his skill 3. So that is something with reverb on the field right now. Reverb and everlasting in play right now. So I think he goes above Picard Sang, because tremor bursting is really good right now if you can get reverb and everlasting to hit the enemy before he goes. Now, middle Meursault is really weird because you need him in an envy team with Middledon for him to really reach his full potential. And if he's not in that team, he is not that good. He's not that great at all. What's it? What's his debuff called? Like Vengeance or whatever? The little book debuff is interesting because it helps it activates his conditionals. So without, if you're clashing against an enemy, like multiple enemies, right, he gets significantly worse because he can only have one of those debuffs at a time. So I think he goes below. He goes I see. Can he clash well? I think he can clash well. So yeah, he goes below KK Ryoshu. And now we have Dead Rabbit's Meursault. Dead Rabbit is a pretty interesting case because he goes count neutral. No, I'm gonna say interesting. He goes count neutral. He has a lot of coins, and he still goes mostly count neutral. Maybe a little bit count negative, but mostly count neutral. So he's a good addition to a Rupture team as a whole, and he also gives decent debuffs to it, inflicting defense level down whenever he hits an enemy with 6 Rupture on them, or it's on his bench. I think he also gets that if he's on field. So pretty interesting with the defense level down, but yeah, defense. I don't think Rupture deals true damage, so the Rupture damage isn't gonna go higher. But it's nice to have because your units can do damage themselves, even though the majority of your damage will be coming from Rupture. So I'd say he'd go he'd go here above Lantern Dawn. Yeah, because his four coin skill can do pretty good damage because it's a 4-coin skill. Obviously, it's gonna do damage. But yeah, anyways, we have W Meursault, which, can I say, his rolls are absolutely atrocious without regret, and we're not factoring in regret for this tier list. We're just mostly looking at IDs unless the ID has like some interaction with a very potent ego. And if we just account for regret, then all the Meursault IDs would at least be an A tier. I'm just saying. And then all the three-star IDs except for Grobhammer would be an S tier. And BL Meursault will just not exist on this plane of reality anymore. So, if we're assuming no regret, this guy cannot clash. He does not roll high enough to clash well. So, based on that, you might think he's like a B tier, like below Dawn, definitely, right? But I'd say he's beside Dawn because he can act as a debuffer for charge because he's very fast, and Rip Space and DDEDR are both slash skills, and he can inflict 12 slash fragility, which is a lot of fragility, to an enemy. So Rip Space and DDEDR will be doing more damage to that part as a whole. So because of that, he's pretty valuable. Only bad part is his charge generation is bad as trash without teleport. So he goes below Sync Done because of that. And yes, you do need charge. I think at least 10 charge to be able to use his skill 3 and get the debuffs on the enemy. And the Sync Done is cuter, so she goes there. Now we have Grobhammer. I was gonna say, I really don't understand this ID. So this ID is weird. Okay, I know regret's not a factor, and I keep bringing it up, but I have to bring it up now because I did the calcs. that sounds nerdy. I hate that. Anyways, his skill 1 rolls the highest, technically, if you use regret. And that's stupid. That's really dumb. I believe. I think. If you reach below 50%, and you use regret, you get enough coin power to outroll your other skills, which is very dumb. So, yeah, other than that, if you use him in an N-Corp team, he can't help proc whistles. And he might take your Fanatic buff. So he's mostly a liability. I mean, you dare is pretty funny, I guess, as a counter skill. I suppose. Give him a lost skill, please. Anyways, we have Rhino Meursault now, which I have to be really thinking hard about where to put him, because he's somewhat similar to W Meursault, that being they're both supposed to be tanks for charge, and they have charge in them. But instead of being a debuffer, Rhino Meursault inflicts bleed and goes speed if you get charge on him. But he loses that speed, max speed, if you use his skill 3 to inflict bleed on the enemy, or his skill 2 just a little bit, not as much as his skill 3 though. So because of that, his haste is somewhat like, his charge amount is somewhat interesting to like balance, because would you want to use your skill 3 to do big damage but not be able to go fast for a couple of turns after that? Or would you like to keep consistently rolling a decent amount of speed? It's not even like you're not even rolling like max speed all the time, right? You're rolling average, or maybe even like low average. So there's also inconsistency in that part. But it's an interesting balance. And he's not bad by any means. If we don't account for regret, his clashing is actually pretty good if you can meet his conditionals. So because of that, he goes above W Meursault, and he goes right below B Alfast, because he's really reliant on charge to maintain his speed and his conditionals as well. So it's kind of weird there. But yeah, I think that's where Rhino would go. And now we have Kim. Now, Kim is really dumb. If you are able to get all his poise conditionals, his multiplier can go up to, I believe, 380%. It might be more, it might be less, but around that range, which is pretty dumb. And if it's multiple targets, it would be 280% multiplied by 3 max, right? But usually it'd be multiplied by 2, because most enemies are going to have actually no, abnormality parts usually only have 1 attack weight 2 times. So yeah, multiplied by 3. 280% multiplied by 3 damage. Crazy. Absolutely dumb. I mean, the only downside is that he gets hurt, but he kills you. you like poke him on the shoulder, and then he just stares at you weirdly, and the next moment, you're dead. You're gone. Yeah. uh, do I think he goes above Ring Sang? Does he go above Ring Sang? Nah. Me? Yeah. He does. He definitely does. Yeah, claim their bones is really funny. But yeah, that's it for my Meursault IDs. Trying. Oh yeah, so for I forgot to talk about his other buffs that can bring if claim their bones isn't like stupid enough. So Swordsplay of the Homeland buffs all BL poise generation and count by giving them one more poise and one more count if resonance, 3 pride resonance is achieved, and if you are able to use any other skill than overthrow, because I not overthrow. Yeah, overthrow and yield my flesh, because I believe both of them do not give himself poise, and you need the skill to give Meursault poise for him to pass around poise to all the other BL members. But he can also increase their clashing power and their damage if they use the same corresponding skill with him. So he gives stupid, honestly, amount of buffs to them. They make all of them really pretty good. Honestly, I forgot to account for that for Bealdon. But Bealdon, if we account for that, would go here probably, but not beside Lantern Dawn. But we're going to assume for the BL squad that they're being run with BL Meursault, because that's what I assumed with Yisang, and we're keeping it through, even though I forgot about it during Dawn's video. Don't worry about it. But yeah, BL Foss would stay the same, honestly. And then any other BL members on the list right now? I do not believe so. So, yeah, that would be it for my Meursault IDs. If they all have regret, they would all be significantly higher, but we're gonna assume that they don't have regret to make things simpler. But yeah, that would be it for Meursault. Yeah. But anyways, we're one away from being halfway done. Next would be Honglu, which would mark the halfway point for the Sinners, even though Dante is 10, but don't worry about it. But yeah, that's it. See you again next time with Honglu. Bye!